A lot of your businesses, because it's being recorded, I won't ask. How many of you Google and go onto LinkedIn as soon as you get an applicant that might come across your desk? But it happens a lot. Percentages are very high, even of those who admit that they're doing it. I think the other ones do it and just don't say it. But with, this has become an informal background check process. The only problem is it can create a number of issues that you otherwise wouldn't have had. Let's say you would just see my resume and somebody else's resume, and out of pocket you say, I don't like Johnson's resume. Don't like it. I went to Duke, you went to Carolina, you throw it away. Then you see the other person. You don't know at this point if I am, you might know that I'm male. You don't know what race I am. You don't know what religion I am. You don't know if I've had a disability, if I've had cancer, if I've had any of these things. Flip side, let's say you go out and Google my name, Facebook pops up, and you see, oh, that's interesting. Here are his causes. And my causes might reflect that we had a situation where there was an individual who had breast cancer, and that was a cause. Well, am I going to say as a business employer, it's kind of close, but what if breast cancer comes back? That's going to hit my insurance premiums quite a bit harder. Or even if you don't say those things, the person who is rejected might say, well, did you go to Facebook? So let me make sure I know this. You knew then that the individual was female, you knew she was over a certain age, you knew that she had had breast cancer. So isn't that really why you didn't hire her? I mean, looking at the resumes, they're really close. So isn't that why you really decided not to hire that person? Well, now you have knowledge of those things where before you could say it had nothing to do with it. I didn't even know that. Not knowing it was always a very good defense when you're faced with these kind of claims. But now, because you've seen it, you don't have the ability to say I didn't know it, which means it likely goes further along in the litigation process. So there are some good things that can come out of doing the background searches. I'm going to put it in quotes, but you need to do it the right way. And if you're going to do it, you should probably do it for all employees and be consistent about it. And a lot of companies are even developing policies on that issue as well. Employee off-duty conduct. There are some states that say whatever employees do on their own time, New York, Kentucky are two of them, you cannot take any action based on so long as it's legal. So in Kentucky, whether it's smoking, whether it's whatever it may be, smoking's a big one in Kentucky. You can't do anything that would be in the employment setting disciplinary against them for doing something legal off duty. In Ohio, that is not the case. So if there is an impact to your business, especially on the private side, public side's a little bit different, but especially on the private side, if there's an impact to your business because of what somebody's doing off duty that then hurts your reputation, you have certain rights to then discipline that person. Here's a key one that a lot of people don't think about: LinkedIn, Facebook, and especially in the private sector, making sure that your confidential information is protected. Along the same lines as that salesman that I talked about, there was a regional manager who did a very similar thing in retail and said, here are really the monthly goals that we have, and we met them all. And the person's obviously very happy that they met them all. Corporate was not too pleased that that went out, because now competitors see, oh, well, now I see where they're tracking in that particular market, because obviously it identifies the person down to what city they're in. This was a national chain. What city they're in, what market they're in, what mall they're in, and now you can see exactly what that, and that's what typically leads to, we need a policy. Because this was early on in the life cycle of social media, and this company didn't have a policy to say, you probably shouldn't do these things. And one of the tenets of employee discipline is you should probably put them on notice not to do things. Now, there are some things that people should just know not to do, punching supervisors, things of that nature. Although even that now is in handbooks, don't hit your supervisor. Controlling the flow of pictures, information. We had another situation where there was a plant manager who was very proud of the reconfiguration of the production area. Takes pictures, puts them on Facebook. Well, you might not want the reconfiguration of your plant, that area, going out worldwide, because frankly that was everything that they had done to protect it as a trade secret, the layout, the production mechanism. And legally, up until that point, if anybody tried to get that, we would have a great defense. You just blew everything out of the water by putting it out online. You sacrificed any confidential information claim that you had. And then you get into, medical records, you get into all of these privacy issues with individuals and coworkers putting out other, pictures of other coworkers. The obvious one is guy takes a picture of the other guy at the urinal, which, yes, we've dealt with that. We have very mature employees still to this day. And they come out of very sophisticated clients, too. This isn't just, backroom production kind of stuff. It's amazing what still to this day happens. You have that, but then you also have the more sensitive information. And sometimes employees don't want you to put out. We had a claim from an employee who was upset that someone put him on the prayer list at church because they didn't want people to know that so-and-so was fighting a certain ailment. Similar, put it out on Facebook to say, please pray for so-and-so. Well, that can come back to bite you too. It's amazing now putting these things out. And again, back to the earlier slides, they don't go anywhere. They hit everybody instantaneously. It's amazing how powerful this can be, and it can be great for your business. But at the same time, you've got to mitigate the risk because it could be equally detrimental to your business. And then just to wrap it up, absolutely your businesses should be looking at policies to deal with this. Your standard acceptable use policies and the policies that talk about don't use email for bad things, those are likely outdated. You need to go a little farther and address the fact that you're doing this off-duty, the fact that you might be remote, the fact that you have certain rights, and you have to make clear not to do those certain things like disclose information about the company, send out pictures of coworkers, the employees, say certain things about management while still protecting and not falling into an issue with the NLRB regulations. So that's where we are.
You have time for questions?
I do?
Yeah,
excellent. I felt like the little guy from, if you remember Micro Machines, the guy that used to talk about the cars and just go, okay, never mind. Anybody? 10 back up? Sure. Yes.
My question was when you were talking about the plants and they put a picture out that showed and gave like the trade secret. Aren't many of the Facebook sites or LinkedIn like a news site, so the only people who could access it are people that you allow? And does that make a difference?
It can make a minor difference, but there's also you put it out there, you know that one of the risks is that it gets hacked. So by you putting it out there, there is a little bit of a mitigation of, well, we put it out there and it was protected. Okay, well, if it's protected, is it protected from, let's say you have an employee whose kid is a friend of that employee. Well, can the kid see it? So you get into a lot of issues that you probably don't want to run the risk of then losing a trade secret that is, 98% of a number of companies' entire business is what they have intellectual property was. So.
And then kind of going on that, if
yeah.
you partake in Facebook in a personal level, do you suggest that it's always protected and closed, that you never have an open site?
Yes. I mean, I will tell you that unfortunately, even legal things, so things that you're doing off duty can come back to bite you. And I'll tell you, a lot of it happens in the public sector with teachers. So we've had to deal with situations where you've got pictures from college that you might not have even posted. That's the thing about Facebook is you don't post these pictures, somebody else posts these pictures, but you're sitting there, let's just say you're at Halloween OU wearing your costume, and you're sitting there with marijuana in your hand. Well, that's going to be a problem for a lot of parents who now you're put in front of, particularly as a younger teacher, and they're saying, wait a minute, I don't know if this is and this could be 5-10 years ago, I don't know if this is the role model that we want. We've had to deal with a lot of those situations where you have these pictures that, again, weren't even posted by you that can come back to bite you. And I think on a personal level, what you need to do, and we were having this discussion a little earlier, even with your professional sites, you need to make sure that you're staying up on them. one of the things that we see a lot is great to start it up, but there's a lot of work that goes up to maintaining it the right way. And you can set it up all you want, but then if you don't do anything with it, all it becomes is perhaps just a lot of naysayers posting and continuing to post back and forth without you really controlling, or your businesses that you work with, really controlling the message that you want it to be. I mean, it really has to factor into your PR strategy, your communication strategy with where you want to go, and then making sure that you're staying on top of your own personal to say, whoa, wait, Cousin Freddie probably shouldn't have posted that picture of me, you know, guns a-blazing.
So our chamber has a Facebook page, and you know, a lot of times after our events, we take a lot of pictures. And should I not be posting pictures from my events?
Yeah, I mean, here's the lawyer. Here's the lawyer answer.
Okay.
The lawyer answer is you should probably tell people in advance that they might be photographed and put out in publication. That's the lawyer answer. Does this happen all the time? And usually it's resolved by, I didn't really want that picture up there. I'll tell you, we had this situation because there was, I can't help but chuckle a little bit. There was an office party. By the way, office parties are bad. No. But they're good for me. They're good for our business. Sometimes not so good for yours. But, you know, holiday party, a little bit of alcohol is being served, and you have manager who is, you know, fake kissing, I don't even think it happened, with subordinate, who then subordinates performance and actually then does something really dumb, has to be terminated. And that's exhibit A of, here you go, I was harassed at work, and this person, I couldn't focus on my work because I was being harassed for so long. This goes back to office party of, you know, it's just out there, and it's a whole new world for us to deal with as lawyers because you can get all of these things in your case. There was a huge class action in Cleveland on welding rods that Lincoln Electric was involved in, and the person was claiming they were severely disabled because of the product. Well, a little bit of homework on Facebook shows Mr. So-and-so as a champion power boater holding up big trophy, bigger than me, which is at least 5'6", although I did wear 2 pairs of socks today. 5'6", saying, woohoo, case dismissed. I mean, that's how powerful this has become. And again, it's a great tool, and I don't want to discourage you, either the chambers or your businesses from using it. You just have to use it really wisely and stay on top of it.
So maybe at events where we are taking pictures from the podium, just let folks
Yeah.
know, hey, if you don't want pictures of you published, just let us know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay, thank you very much.